Throne and Liberty just launched on free-to-play today. We tried it out on the stream and we got a lot to talk about. Essentially, guys, Throne and Liberty is a Korean MMO from NCSoft that came out by Amazon. They just launched it on America, on the West. And very much like New World, you can see there is a reason that Amazon got their taste on what they do. They really got a type when it comes to choosing MMOs. You can immediately see that this is a top-notch production. Before you hear me say anything else about Throne and Liberty, because I got a lot of things to complain about here, I want to make it very clear that this has got to be the smoothest, cleanest, very well finished MMOs to ever launch in this state. I didn't encounter a single bug. The gameplay felt amazing. I was playing from South America to North America because I wanted to play with friends. The netcode is really good. I couldn't even feel the lag, which is something that's very uncommon for Korean MMOs. If you played a Korean MMO before, you know that if you got a little bit of lag, they tend to break. But this was not the case at all. Throne and Liberty, for its performance, it is absolutely top-notch. All the props to that. It is not easy to have a well-functioning game like this at this level. Now, having that said, let me talk about the actual experience, because a game is more than the actual technology behind it. First of all, my computer was kinda laggy. I got a 1660 Ti, I believe. I got like a mid-range, kinda crappy graphics card. It will still run and it will still stream it, but I had to play it on minimum graphics. So keep that in mind while you watch the game, that yeah, if you look at these graphics and you're not too impressed with them, this is the minimum settings. And even still, the game looks gorgeous. Not just gorgeous, technically impressive. The detail that you can see in the background is something that can very easily rival Elden Ring. Looking at the beginning of the game with the giant cherry blossom and comparing it to the art tree in Elden Ring, you can really see that the detail and quality of the art can very well rival it. And I think it's not a coincidence. I think it is very inspired on Elden Ring, the aesthetic of the world, which I got no problem with. The art style looks pretty neat. The characters themselves, the character creation, very Korean MMO looking. You played one Korean MMO, the modern ones, and you played them all. The customization, really good. There is even a feature that you can take a picture and turn it into your face. I tried to use it, it wouldn't work. That's a shame. The servers were crashing because of all the people, because you gotta go to a website to use it and the website crashed. The servers were running fine. I will not get too much into it because I think it is just a very well functioning character customization. I made my little Templar Knight. I think I looked cool, kinda like me, and I was done. I was happy with it. It kinda sucks that they only got a human race in the game, like all the other Korean MMOs. They either got human and human with pointy ears and human with cat ears, and that's it. I mean, like, I would have liked to play a Toren or something. As you're gonna see, there is kinda something that they are trying to scrape the itch with, and I don't know if it's gonna scratch that itch very well, but that's something we're gonna talk about. As soon as I was out of the first cinematic, which was really long, it's skippable, but still I felt bad if I did skip the first cinematic. I was immediately hit with childlike wonder, okay? Like that feeling you get when you find a new game and it's really, really interesting. I got that feeling. It's very rare to get it these days on me. Sadly, it didn't last me more than 30 minutes, and that's for many reasons. First of all, let's talk about the beginning, the early experience of the game, the questing experience, and I gotta tell you, they somehow managed to make questing worse than Vanilla WoW. I don't know how that's possible, but they somehow, through their Korean engineering, managed to do it. I quested pretty efficiently for 2 hours, more or less, and every single quest on the first 2 hours of the game, it was talk to this man, go to this guy 1,000 meters away, talk to that guy, pick up this item here, and go to the other guy. It's not even that kill tell mobs kind of quest, okay? I think I had to kill 3 mobs in the entire first 2 hours of the game. That would have been a lot better, because at least you get to see the combat. But no, that was not the case whatsoever. The questing is gruelingly bad, and the map and the zones look so amazing, and the traveling is so cool looking that you can kinda hide the terrible questing experience for like an hour. It's gonna take you a good hour until you realize how bad the quests are in this game, just because you're awestruck this whole time. Once again, amazing graphics. The quest system, it is very similar to Final Fantasy, where you take a weapon, very similar to Albion Online 2. You take a weapon and your character has a level with that weapon and you get your abilities of that weapon, and if you want to change class, you just take a new weapon and that's it. Early on, some classes do not work. The tank, for example, the sword and board warrior, it has one offensive ability and then it's like all defensives. If you want a quest in that state, it's gonna take you an eternity. It's not worth it. So you're gonna see very quick that everybody is either a mage or a two-handed swordsman. That's pretty much the only two that are leveling efficiently right now. They definitely gotta retool, move around the level requirements of some abilities or something, because it is definitely a terrible experience if you don't want to play one of those. Eventually I swapped to one of those because I realized it, but it still sucks. I wanted to play a tank. Now, another aspect of the questing experience is that it is very Final Fantasy looking. The whole thing, they clearly took the inspiration from something like that. It is a weird combination of Genshin Impact, my very poor understanding of Genshin Impact, and Final Fantasy, where every quest is 3 cinematics and you are the chosen one. The plot is atrocious. The plot is basically you're thrown into the world and you're the chosen one. There's like a purple lady that threw something at you and now you're the purple guy and you do purple stuff. And somehow that's good or evil, we don't really know. I watched the cinematics for a good hour until I got bored and I started skipping them all. I can see the appeal. I mean, people do like the Final Fantasy kind of storyline. I hate those kind of games. I really hate those kind of games, but some people like them, so I am not gonna say that's a negative, because there is there is an audience for this kind of gameplay, and you can clearly see they put a lot of effort into doing it, which is why it hurts so bad that I hate it. Now, one thing that I think almost everybody is gonna agree with me here is that there is 2 features of the questing experience that make this really annoying. The number one is gonna be the narrator. So you finish a quest, you pick up a jar, okay? The quest is go pick up this pickle jar and send it to this guy. You go, you take the pickle jar, you take it to the other guy. That's every quest like this, by the way. And after you finish the quest, you see like a lady narrating what you did. It's like, and then he grabbed the pickle jar and he took it to the other guy. And he realized the meaning of life was about to set in. I am not even kidding. Take a look at this.
Soon after you drank the potion, you could feel your magic begin to settle down. Martinet, who had been researching a way to relieve her older sister Adriana's...
Every single quest is like this. I couldn't find a way to disable it. I wish I really could. I think if they put a toggle to disable the narrator, it would be 20 times better. There is also the other really annoying thing, and they took the little fairy from Genshin Impact, you know, like the Zelda fairy that chases you everywhere. They did it again, because everybody knows the most annoying feature of Zelda, they want it in that game too for some reason. There is a ragdoll that chases you everywhere, only you can see it, and it makes you feel like you're schizophrenic. Everything you do, it says something. Everything you do, you get a pop-up of dialogue. It's in every cinematic. It really takes you away from the experience. You're in this cool medieval battleground where everything is photorealistic, and then you see the mascot of Little Big Planet talking to you and like trying to do cutesy, silly stuff. It is very obviously a ripoff of Genshin Impact. When I saw the trailer and I saw that little baby fairy, I was like, yeah, I am tuning out of this game immediately, and this for the same reason I kinda tuned out of the questing experience in this game. It is not nearly as bad, but it's still pretty bad. It makes me feel like I am schizophrenic when I got this thing around me. Another interesting thing about the questing experience is that quests give you no gear. I do not know if that's intentional to get you to go check out the crafting system or check out the store system and that kind of stuff. I didn't really feel like I needed gear to complete anything I was doing. The mobs were very weak. I didn't die in that game once. You see me play World of Warcraft, okay? I am not a great player. If there was something that was capable of killing me, I would have died. In one boss fight, I just went to the bathroom and came back and I was still alive fighting the boss, just auto-attacking him while I was AFK for like a minute. And that's where you can see the DNA of the Korean Grindfest MMO. You can clearly see who this game was actually designed for, even though the fancy, amazing production values would show you otherwise. I gotta say, I went to the arena for a while and I tried fighting other people, and the PvP does feel amazing. After taking a look at the PvP, which is not my thing, granted, but I fought a couple people, and looking at the mobility, and there is a bit of a counter-attack mechanic in the game, I am not surprised one bit why the PvP people from WoW like Showbeck are really into this game. So if you are a PvP MMO kinda guy, this could very well be the game for you, okay? I wouldn't rule it out. I am not gonna talk too much about it because I am not the PvP person and I didn't do it too much. I do not enjoy PvP, but it definitely felt like the combat system is designed around PvP and not PvE. That's definitely the impression I got. The main and almost the only thing that this game does really different than any other MMO is the morphing mechanic. Essentially, every class is a druid. If there's a lore explanation for this, the game did a terrible way of doing it because I could not find any explanation. In one quest, I just told turn into a wolf, and I turned into a wolf. And I was the whole time like, why can people turn into wolves? Why is this a thing? They never explain how. I don't think they do, at least. I kind of missed it if they did. That seems like a pretty important thing to explain when you start playing, don't you? Because the very first cinematic is like a super boring 2-minute exposition dump. You could have dropped a little line in the exposition dump that said, oh, by the way, people turn to wolves. But yes, instead of mounting up, you can turn into a wolf. There is also like a gliding system where you turn into an eagle. And there is even a swimming system where you turn into, get this, a sea otter. Really nasty creatures. You can even get skins for the animal. I think it's only cosmetic. It might have a gameplay implication. I don't think so. But you can get a cat. You can turn into a tiger instead of a lion. You can turn into like a ostrich. There is stuff like that. I think that's on the cash shop. I do not mind selling skins in an MMO, especially a free-to-play MMO. I think it's fine. I wouldn't drive myself nuts with that. It seems like a reasonable thing to sell, and it barely matters. But essentially, that's what you get instead of mounts. Now, here's my thing. Is it really different from mounts? You cannot use it in combat. There is really no other mechanic from it. Instead of mounting up a horse like any other MMO, you turn into a wolf and you run faster. It's fine. It's different, and it definitely works. I don't see how that's gonna sell the game though. I simply do not see it. If anything, I think the Dragon's Prophet gimmick, and by the way, you can see Dragon's Prophet DNA in every single bit of this game. Dragon's Prophet is a failed MMO from the early 2010s. I played it quite a bit. It's Taiwanese though, not Korean like this game, so I don't know if the same people were doing this game. I think they were. I think there's definitely some crossover there. But at least the Dragon's Prophet gimmick that your pet was the mount and you could collect different pets, it gave you a really good reason to care about it, but this is just the most unappealing way to make a mount system. It's even worse. There is something to be said about having your character looking cool with your cool armor and mounting up on a new horse because you own the horse and you can brag about the horse. But when you are the new tiger or when you are the new ostrich, I think something is lost on that. It doesn't feel like you are the guy anymore. And I am sure that druids can attest to this feeling where it kinda sucks where you're a boomkin and you cannot show off your new gear because you're on druid form all the time. So it kinda sucks. That's definitely how it feels with the mounting system. Everything else, aside from the storyline, which I think is easily the weakest part of this game, and the morphing system, the mounting system, I think this is just more World of Warcraft. The combat seems almost... there is an action combat mode. I didn't bother trying it out because it never works, but the tap targeting mode, it feels exactly like World of Warcraft. The way you press the abilities, the way you target mobs, everything. I will say though that I am not a fan of the abilities. There is no weight to them. They do not feel special. For example, the two-handed swordsman, you get a dash, okay, that's a cool ability, that works. But the other 3 abilities that you get early on are you hit 3 times, you hit harder, or you hit and then you hit again. That's the 3 abilities you get at the very start of the game. And the other abilities you get later are defensives. There might be some cool ability much later, but I didn't get to that part. And for keeping the combat simple for a PvP MMO, it's probably not the worst thing in the world, but it doesn't feel special and it doesn't feel something. You look at the text of the abilities, you see a freaking book in there, brother. It's not like a simple ability that you can just hover over it and read it. I got no idea what the abilities does, and honestly, I got no real incentive to look at what the abilities do. They all do the same, and the mobs die anyway super fast. So yes, I think there is not gonna be a lot of depth to the PvE experience of the game. The PvP experience with the counterattack mechanic, the mobility, it could make for some fighting game-ish style of gameplay. I do not hate that. That's perfectly fine for you. But honestly, if you wanna get my most sincere, pure thoughts on this game, I think this is just a Korean grindfest MMO that did an excellent job at disguising itself as a normal MMO. And I think as you get more up in the levels and you get to play this game a little longer, you are gonna slowly realize that there is not much else than the normal Korean MMO that we had for 20 years in this game. On an amazingly gorgeous looking game with an amazing technology. The technology aspect of this game is amazing. The servers run perfect. You can seamlessly teleport inside a building, opening the door, and you cannot even see a loading screen. You can actually literally teleport from like half the map away, and it's seamless. There is no loading screen. You just see the animation, and one frame you're in one part and the other frame you're in another part. I never seen that before, and that's something that I get, that I don't think this is how the future great MMO is gonna play. I don't think that is how it's gonna feel, but definitely this is how the future of MMOs technology-wise looks like. The technical aspect of this game is by far easily the best I have ever seen in an MMO. Even though I probably will not care for it. I will play it a couple more times and I'm gonna get bored and I'm gonna go back to WoW. That's my bet on it. And I bet most people will do the same. Now let me tell you, the game is free on Steam and there is no real reason why you shouldn't try it. Aside from the fact that it's 70 gigabytes, that's kind of a bummer, but if you can get a couple days worth of fun from this game, it's literally free. Nobody can take that away from you. And it is definitely worth a shot. Even just for being amazed at the map for an hour until you get bored, I think it's still worth a try. And that's why it hurts me so deep that I know that deep down this game is probably gonna fail pretty hard. And that's a shame. The games they make for the Korean market are simply not suited for normal people. And that's the cold reality of it. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. I would love to hear your experience with the game. Maybe you can change my mind. Who knows? I didn't play it for that long. But these are my first impressions on the game. And I don't think I'm gonna change my mind too easily. Subscribe, join the Discord, and thank you for watching.